Welcome students. In this lecture, we are dealing with the topic from this topic chromatography is thin layer chromatography, shortly called as a TLC. The technique is same as that of paper chromatography, but instead of paper, the thin layers of the adsorbing material is prepared on the glass plate, and that glass plate is used for separation of the components. Here the TLC plate is shown. This is a TLC plate. Plate is kept inclined at 45 degrees centigrade in the solvent chamber. Solvent rises through the plate and finally the components are separated. Okay, let us see the principle. The principle of TLC is the distribution of a compound between a solid fixed phase, that is a thin layer, applied to a glass or plastic plate, and a liquid mobile phase, that is eluting solvent, that is moving over the solid phase. The mobile phase is a solvent chosen according to the properties of the components in the mixture. Okay. Now let us see the procedure adopted in TLC. The material required is a glass plate, then adsorbent material, one for activation of the plate, development chamber, mobile phase for the running over stationary phase, then a device for applying the adsorbent layer on the glass plate, and finally the storage of the prepared TLC. Okay, this is the technique as here shown. The plate is kept in the solvent chamber in the beaker. Solvent is kept at the bottom, and therefore this technique is like ascending technique here, and to avoid the evaporation of the solvent, the chamber is covered with glass, washed glass. Okay. Now the stationary phase may be prepared by using these adsorbent material, silica gel or silica gel 254, or alumina is also used, or cellulose is also used as a stationary phase, which is converted into slurry, and that slurry is deposited as a thin layer on a glass plate. Mobile phase, it is a liquid. Mobile phase is a liquid. Okay. For example, pet ether, CCl4, chloroform, ethyl acetate. The ability of mobile phase to move up is depending on the polarity itself, and volatile organic solvent is preferentially used as a mobile phase. Now, how the TLC plate is prepared? Okay, the TLC plates are usually commercially available with a standard particle size range to improve the reproducibility. What happens if the man-made layers are there? By forming the layers for repetition, the layer of the same thickness cannot be obtained on the plate, and therefore the TLC are commercially available with a standard size range. Okay, they are prepared by mixing the adsorbents such as silica gel with a small amount of inert binder like calcium sulfate, that is gypsum, and water. The mixture is sprayed as a thick slurry or an uncreative carrier sheet, usually glass, thick aluminum foil or plastic. The thickness of the layer is typically around 0.1 to 0.25 mm for analytical purpose, around 0.5 to 2 mm for preparative TLC. Thus, the TLC plate is prepared by using the slurry of the gel on the plate. Application of sample on the TLC plate, it is the same as in the paper chromatography. The baseline is drawn from one end of the plate on the absorbing layer and the sample is spotted with the help of fine capillary. As the sample is spotted, the drop dries quickly. The spotting is repeated for the concentration of drop. Here the drop remains compact. Okay. After applying the sample on the plate is kept for development. Development of chromatogram. It is kept in the tank at an angle of 45 degree centigrade. It is kept inclined. The solvent is kept at the bottom, that is, it is a variety of ascending paper chromatography. Okay, and thus the development of chromatogram is done. The solvent front is allowed to run for the required distance or required time. After the development of solvent front for the required condition, the plate is removed out of the solvent chamber and dried. This is the diagram showing the plate here, the preparation of thin layer on the plate, and this is the development of chromatogram. Here the plate is shown inclined. Now, yes, here after drying the chromatoplate, the separated components, if they are colored, located easily, and if they are colorless, they are located by using the reagents. After locating the separated components, the distances traveled by the components are measured and the distance traveled by the solvent front is measured and RF value is calculated. Application of TLC in qualitative analysis. Now students, from the RF value, the qualitative analysis can be performed. That is, if the RF value is low, what component is present in the mixture can be calculated, because RF values are constant, and therefore if the RF value determined by the practical is matches with the RF value of that component, then we can identify the component, and this is the application of the thin layer chromatography. Now, other applications are analyzing the decomposition of fiber in forensic study, or it is monitoring organic reaction in clinical study to carry out the qualitative and quantitative analysis of biological and metabolic sample to detect the diseases. and semi-qualitative analysis can be also performed by extracting the spots in suitable solvent, and it's determined by volumetric analysis or any other instrument technique. Now, advantages of TLC. The first advantage is separation is sharper in TLC than paper chromatography. It is much more rapid technique. The use of inorganic layer eliminates background organic effects in spectroscopic analysis. More reactive reagents like sulfuric acid can be used in TLC, which are not possible in paper chromatography. The separated spots are more distant, hence detection methods are more sensitive, while in paper chromatography the separated spots are closer. That is, this is the slide of comparison. We will see the comparison chart of TLC and paper chromatography. The principle in TLC is adsorption, while in paper it is a partition. Okay. The most cases more amount of substance is required, while in paper the less amount of substance is required. The TLC require less time, while paper chromatography consumes much time. TLC can be heated, that is, the plate can be heated for drying purpose, while paper chromatography, it is not possible to heat the paper on the flame. Okay. In TLC, the separation is more sharp, while in the paper chromatography, it is a less sharp. Okay. In the TLC, it have physical strength, while due to lack of physical strength in paper, descending technique are used, while in TLC, ascending technique is used. These are some comparison. The most important comparison, like more drastic conditions, concentrated reagents like sulfuric acid can be used in TLC, while in paper chromatography this is not possible. Okay. And these are the comparison between TLC and paper chromatography. With this, we have completed our chromatography. Thank you.